Hurricane update. Hurricane update.
Show love, I'm gonna make you mine. There's something special about your love. I think it's one of a kind.
Hello, hello, hello. I wanted to give you a quick weather update on how it's looking. Doesn't seem too bad, but definitely concerned. The weather is picking up a little, like we are feeling a little bit of it, but the biggest concern is that it's very close to Florida and it's a category 4 right now, but literally like 2 miles per hour lower than a category 5. So they believe potentially it could hit at a category 5. So by the time it comes here, we'll definitely be able to see how bad it is. As of right now, we're not really sure. We're just kind of praying. So to everyone out there, pray for us and we'll just keep updating you. Crazy enough, it's really cold out here, like really cold. We're outside because Dan is trying to take the blades off. It's much easier to do it obviously when it's down, but he's trying to snap off the blades so we can take that inside and just leave the top. But it's cold out here. Like I'm really cold. Like it's like really cold. It's like strange.
Alright, so Lisa was actually able to get one of them out. You have to kind of wiggle them, so what we're trying to do is just get them down because it's already starting to spin with the wind and the wind is nowhere near where we're anticipating right now. Luckily we had seen somewhere like Disney was taking down blades on their fans and I was like, yeah, that looked like it's a good idea because it just hangs down low enough. Just to show you what's going on in the sky, you're starting to slowly see signs that this is more than just a thing there. But I'll show you more after we're done with this project. So see you guys in a minute. Alright, so mission accomplished. We got the blades down. It was hell on wheels. So they have a little piece that you squeeze in there and then you can pull them out. But the back one is the one you really have to engage. We would be here to get them out and didn't figure that out until like 3 or 4 blades in. It was hell to get them down, but at least the fan is like this now. Other than that, it's just kind of hope for the best. This is what Lisa is panicking about. Yes. These guys have found their spots.
There's one literally on top of the floor now.
This you thought? This little one, yes sir?
No, there's the one on top of the roll where the roller them.
Him crawl up there?
Up at the top corner where the felt thing is.
Yeah.
Look.
Behind there?
His little eye on the top.
I hope him don't get crushed. I don't know if him can really fit in there. Anyway, you can see the weird swirling of the clouds now. That again lets you know something is up. That is ominous. Like, you know, like you can see this, that this is not just a like a thunderstorm. This is like formings of like hurricane bands, and this is like way out still too. So they've come on with the like what I call the purge announcement a couple of times now, telling you to be off the roads by 2 o'clock and that EMS services, which means, you know, police or like emergency services, are going to be suspended at that time frame. It's actually not raining right now, but you can just feel the wind starting to build up. I mean, this is our AC off and that blade spinning around. The clouds, it's one thing to show you guys that, but it's another thing to stand here and actually witness it. Everything is in order. Hopefully there is really no before and after. Anyway, it's time to get these up. Best wishes to all of these creatures that have to be outside here. We'll check in a little bit more and let you guys know what's going on. Hopefully we don't lose power, but like anything that we forgot to do, like we got all the stuff to charge last night and then we had other things charging. When I put the last of like the little power banks to charge, there was a big debate on whether we should just use the filtered water from the fridge and fill the thing or boil the water. I'm saying boil the water and save the filter because those pictures are really big, so I think that's what I'm gonna do now while we cook something. And just whatever we're gonna cook though, I figure we kind of just hurry up and kind of cook and maybe eat like cold cut sandwich or something for lunch, because if light go away, you don't want to be caught flat-footed. Like Lisa made a lasagna which we can warm, and we always have the barbecue, but we want to be able to get through the rest of the day as well if like light go away like at like 2. right? Then till tomorrow, when we can actually safely take the barbecue out and cook, we're kind of stuck eating chips and whatever is like pre-made or can't eat cold. So time to get on that too. Couple last minute things, but they're all internal house things to do. Like I told you guys before, there is a weird kind of excitement, but also like obviously like fear every storm, because you can't take like, oh, I've been through a stronger storm, oh, I've been through a bigger storm, but you never quite know what that storm is gonna do. You know what I mean? You can't disrespect like the different categories. Oh, that's just a category 1, yeah, but that could bring flooding like you'd never see, or you know, like winds that are just strong enough to snap down trees and stuff like that. As you can see, those big trees there, luckily for us, even those houses that look to be close, they're not very close, and of course they kind of sway, which is good for hurricanes. They're not like just rigid. And there's none really in the neighborhood really close. There's like these ditch systems and down there, so it's all swamped up, or like areas that will swamp up when the water does come in. So hopefully we don't see any flooding, and that the irrigation is like planned very well. But we can see it whipping across the grass that needs to be mowed, but it is what it is.
So hey guys, we've hit that time, 2 o'clock, where they told us if you didn't pick up anything outside, if you didn't board up, now is not the time. 2 o'clock, they said they really wanted to shut down and like hunker down. So it is 2:47. They said it's really going to kick up by like 8 o'clock for us. Ian has touched landfall in Southwest Florida. So we should be coming in kind of soon, not too soon. Remember I told you about the chicken that I needed to season up? I'm going to probably cook like 6 of them. So we have food and we have a variety of food. I can warm up on the grill and stuff like that. We don't have to be doing no big cooking is the goal. I'm gonna bathe and probably try wash my hair and kind of twist it up a little, just so I don't have to worry about it for a couple of days if we have to move. I just want to update you guys, trying to tell you what it is. The winds have picked up. I think you could hear it. We just had a power glitch. You saw that? What is that? What's that sound? That's the AC. Why did it sound like that? The last time I checked in, you saw that I seasoned some chicken. I took out 6 pieces of them and then I cooked them. And this is just a gravy I'm making for some of the seasoning from the chicken, and then some vegetable broth. You might be like, why are you doing all this cooking? But nobody had the time to be sitting in front of a barbecue cooking up stuff when it's hot outside. I'm not trying to do it. Dan is not trying to do it. So I'm trying to cook up and have meals, especially with the fact that Dan is Bravo team. So that's the team that comes in after the storm to the hospital. So if they need him to come in a little earlier than 7 o'clock, he needs to have food. And like I said, I'm not struggling to pull out barbecue and cook with a toddler. So remember, we had the lasagna from last night. We ate a little bit of it, but there's still like 3/4 of it. I have the chicken thighs. I'm gonna cook a pot of rice and beans probably for this, like not rice and rice and beans, but like just a regular side of beans. It's also not only for us, in case like we have friends and family that need to come over and eat because they're in a similar situation. So I'm getting it done. Oh, and tonight we might eat some ribs. I might be able to cook that before nighttime. I'm trying to get everything done before 8 o'clock, because after that, that's when the storm should really be kind of kicking up. Just wanted to show you outside and how it's going. A couple of people followed Dan's parking advice, so they parked towards the house. Again, it's just another option in order to park. So if there is flooding, the tailpipe is away from floodwaters or anything like that. But I just wanted to give you a quick update on how it's looking outside. It's windy. I'm gonna go back inside because it is picking up. Hurricane update. Hurricane update.
All right, so I keep using this phrase. Everybody that I've texted so far kept saying relatively unscathed. We did very well in the area. We don't have any flooding. You wouldn't really see anything really out of place other than the cars that started like parking sideways across the driveway, you know, trying to get closer to the houses, which is what we did. Went around the house. The house is in good shape. There's one spot Lisa was trying to show me on the side of our house when we were talking to one of our neighbors. Went over there. It was her first storm, so I just wanted to check on her. That looks like something happened with the paint. We're just gonna kind of make sure that the property manager is aware of that, but outside of that, nothing looks out of place. We're still without power. We have a friend that lives relatively close to us. When I say relatively close, I mean like Central Florida's version of relatively close. He's up in like Groveland in Lake County, and he lost light before us, but he's gotten light back. We still don't have light, but through the blessing of family, has some points and was able to book us a room at, ironically, our first home here in Central Florida, at Home 2 Suites. Before we found here, and the housing market was absolutely absurd. You couldn't get anywhere as far as rentals. Not saying that everything is solved now, but it was really bad. We came and thought, oh yeah, you know, naively we thought, oh, we're gonna find a place in a week or two. We always said that we're going to be going back to the hotel probably for the anniversary, and we're kind of ending up makeshifting it because we're about at a year now as since we've moved in. So this is gonna be our makeshift trip. As far as hurricane goes, so the hurricane is back out across Florida on water, downgraded to a tropical storm, but supposed to be strengthening and headed into the Carolinas. Not sure when you guys are seeing this by this time. All of this could have happened by now, but as I'm saying this live, my best wishes to those people there and best wishes to those affected by the storm majorly, because we made it through pretty well here. Not even our little street lights look damaged, but we haven't driven out of our subdivision yet. But everything in and around the houses look very good, so I have to give thanks for that. At the most part, I was hoping light would have came back by now, but you know, it's all over the state. There are millions without light right now. We've gotten pictures from friends from them barbecuing Jamaican breakfast. I was super, I'm not gonna lie, super jealous. I did want some of the breadfruit and planting. To friend showing us his car almost getting water in a muffler. That another friend, well, friends to check up on in Tampa, make sure they're okay. So they are still not sure what they're doing with work. But my manager, she was checking on us. No, obviously checking to see our availability as well for Bravo team to come in. But it was just a nice touch that we didn't just get some generic email or text or something. We got a text directly from her checking if we were okay and if we'd be okay to come in. So that was a nice little touch there. All of that stuff aside, we're blessed that major parts of the storm was when Kellan was sleeping. There was one power outage that kind of scared him a little bit because all the light went off, and which weirdly, he's not scared of the dark. He will go and find a room that no lights are on and go in there with him iPad and, you know, giggle and laugh. Or like when he goes to bed now, he stays up like singing and, you know, counting and doing all kind of stuff before bed. But obviously he wasn't expecting it at that time. We had ended up bathing him early before light, you know, because I just didn't know when light was going to go away. Lisa cook up a whole heap of food, cook up a storm just to make sure that we could have things to warm up on the grill. Part of that was also probably a little bit of worrying about, you know, the storm and just manifesting, like, best way to look at it, not like a panic worry, but just like, you know, a worry where like she doesn't feel like she can really affect anything. because it was just like stay indoors at this point. So she was just doing what she can do, and I guess she felt like what she could do was cook. So she cooked up a whole heap of food. We had like 3 different things. We had some ribs last night, some beef ribs. Again, for all my pork eaters, don't feel sorry for me when you can eat food good like that. Kellan is resting while Lisa is packing. As you can see here, Lisa is getting out some stuff here, including my scrubs for work, just in case they call us in to come in earlier for the Bravo team. I don't anticipate them doing that. I think they'll probably just call me to come in at my regular 7p to 7a, but just in case, not have to drive south to come and go back up north again to go to work. Hopefully light will be back by then. We've also been offered by the blessing again. This is why it take a village, and you know, you have to give thanks to all friends, family, and any support you can get out there. My mom even said she would offer a second night if needed. I really don't want to go to that extreme because obviously I hope light is back by then too, but I also don't want to cost no extra money. The points thing is already kind of like a blessing, but it's like technically not money out of their pocket, so we don't really want to start costing people things, but we'll see. We have to play it by ear because obviously we're blessed that the house isn't hot and it's not hot outside, but as it gets into the night time, like in the afternoon, you know, in the day so far, Kellan hasn't really noticed that the light is off. You know, he's eating his breakfast pretty much the same, and as far as he's concerned, Lisa has been using her phone to kind of just broadcast the like hotspot. So he's been, you know, watching his shows on him iPad like normal. So to him, nothing is really going on yet. But of course, obviously, as it gets darker now, we're just walking around with lanterns and stuff. That would be a little bit more challenging. Glad we didn't need sandbagging and all of that stuff. Trust me, if this is how storms are up here, we can't tolerate that. My personal view, I would still go and get hurricane shutters, or obviously if I can afford it, I'll do the hurricane windows. The thing with the shutters though is it's obviously more cost effective than the windows, but you know, the windows you can look through and thing. This madness about not having any hurricane shutters because you're inland in Florida, storms are getting bigger. That is just becoming more and more antiquated by my estimate. It is what it is. Anyway, Lisa is slowly packing some stuff. I'm going to try to mitigate that not becoming too much things, but at the same time we do want to be realistic that if we do have to take up my mom on the offer for the second night, that we don't have to be coming back and forth on the road, because from what I've heard, some of Kissimmee is still flooded and some places are still, you know, good. So we're gonna be headed on the streets relatively soon. Yeah, we just have to give thanks. I mean, I know it's not the most exciting thing blog, but when your blog is your life, you don't really necessarily want the unnecessary excitement. We saw some people that were in the Naples area online that had major flooding. I mean, there was one lady I saw on TikTok. I don't think she was live streaming. She just did a TikTok from an inflatable boat inside of her house, looking out her window with water like up to her window.
In her house?
Yeah, all across her house. And she was looking at her fridge upside down.
What city was that?
She was up in Naples.
Jesus.
So yeah, they got like a couple feet of water. That's craziness.
All the families affected, like I went through Andrew, and I understand the devastation that went, that the physical devastation and the emotional devastation. So I pray for you guys. We pray for you guys, and you know, just wait. Hopefully, FEMA will be active and quick and get you guys. You know,
the light thing is a concern too, because I mean, there's The flooding is incredibly, there's obviously damage. There was tornadoes touching down.
The people that don't have electricity, like you might just be like, oh, well, you just have to worry about like your fridge. But there are people that rely on electricity for their BiPAPs, their oxygen, or whatever it may be, their machines, their beds.
Or just ventilation in the house is not good.
Air purifications and all that. So, and if it's wet and well, it's not hot really, but no matter what, the mold is gonna build up. So if you have health issues, we pray for you.
Hopefully this will be sorted out soon.
This too shall pass.
I was actually feeling kind of like I need to take a bath, but I don't really want to take an ice cold shower. I might just bill and
I know, me too.
And go to the hotel, go do that. Also trying to think about like food packing to take kind of to the hotel. At the same time, I'm hungry right now, and I'm not whipping out no grill and doing all of that just to warm up food right now. So I don't know, we'll see how that works. Anyway, see you guys. Alright, so you can already hear the dunka outside, which is and I said that like in jest, but it's also like a good sign. If you've been watching the vlog, you might have heard me say that before. If some reggaeton playing, it means people are going to start whipping out the barbecues now. The neighbor behind us that had up the plyboard over his glass door, he took that down. He's grilling right now. You can take a look behind me here at our windows. Some people will say this doesn't really work all that well, but we put up painter's tape on this, and the reason I'm specifying that it was painter's tape is because this doesn't leave a residue, and our neighbor did too. So we did what we could. We didn't have any shutters, but in case anything did crack the glass, the idea behind that is that keeps in the glass from shattering in big shards and coming in. It kind of holds the glass in place. We did not do it on these two windows because, as I'm gonna show you here, our neighbor's house, even though they did it, is so close to our house that both of the houses kind of protect each other. So we skipped these two and just did the ones that were more open. But our neighbor behind us is elevated somewhat, so they were kind of protecting us from the wind, even though they're on an elevation where they don't really have to worry as much as we do about the flooding. See outside? Alright, so outside now, I'm going to show you what's going on. All the little frogs are back now. Still kind of drizzling, so don't really want to keep the camera out too tough. Right here, so not a real ditch, but like a low area between the two houses that is kind of soggy. This is what Lisa was talking about. So it look like at the edge here is kind of, I mean, that is so minor. I don't know if I'd really be all that concerned with it, but we still do our due diligence and kind of show that rest of the house unscathed. Everything out here, AC look like it stood up pretty well. Obviously we'll see once it turns on, and I'm gonna look down into it and make sure. Our neighbor started opening up the window to let in a little bit of the cool breeze, but it's still, this is a little bit more. You can see the sog line where the water run. You can see the soggy line where the water ran along the house here. And then behind us is like a little ditch area that when we first moved in was all like sandy dirt. All grew up. It's crazy to see the transformation. And then back there so is like all like marsh, almost like kind of swampy land. So the thing with that, as you can hear the music booming in the background now, barbecues are in full swing on this day of days to do that. Yeah, it's funny, like we're gonna have this to kind of chronicle Kellan's first like storm. He won't remember it, but it's just crazy because I remember going through a storm relatively. I don't remember, but I see pictures and we see stuff like being there for Gilbert around relatively the same time. And Gilbert was crazy for Jamaica. You can see around us. So we parked kind of across the house to kind of use the house as again. And then some of my neighbors started doing it after we did. Some of them have moved already, but funny enough, some of my neighbors did a better job of getting to closer to the house than I did. But I couldn't bother backing up and forth. I was the only one outside at the time. So anyway, time to take off the cover off of the car, and then make sure that the car seat is in and we get ready to go to the hotels.
All right, guys, so we're packed up and getting out of here to head to the hotel. Power is still not back, and I kind of expected it to come back before we left, but it's probably going to be a while. For sure, it's probably going to be a while. So see ya.
All right, so we're on the way. Hopefully you can hear me, or the generators in the background. Obviously we still haven't gotten light back. We actually got a message from Duke, which is our power company, saying that light should be back in the area on Friday. So I don't know, we should be back in time for light to come back. I'm not making a big huge drama out of this place, but like if you can see on the road here, that is the pine trees that I'm about to show you behind me here. Some of them came down, one or two of them came down, but they fairly held up pretty well. I wish you guys could smell it. It has a weird Christmassy smell. Not exactly the same type of pine, obviously, as a Christmas tree, but also this got really high. Over here is normally like marshlands, but this is all here. But better there than on the road, so it did its job. Obviously, we're gonna want that to go down because, as you can see, the warning here is that there can be wildlife, snakes, up to alligators. They just don't know what can be done in the water, and of course, sitting water means bugs being able to breed, mosquito and all that kind of stuff. So but this came out through the storm pretty well. Not even the covers got torn. So as we're driving through the neighborhood and fastening everything, all the houses look good, all the lights look like they came through unscathed and stuff like that. So I have to give thanks that nothing really got destroyed. You just can tell that obviously a storm passed through. I don't know if you guys can see that too. Behind, there's water back there too, but again, better the water there than in our roads or in our in our backyard and stuff. So as much as I always, you hear me giving the negatives, this held up pretty well against a slow moving storm. That we have to give thanks that the ditches did their thing down there. I don't know if Pennywise down there floating, everything floats down there. Yeah, look how high the water is over here. Wow. We've never seen, like, these are just all normally marsh and tree land. Normally it's kind of dry down there. It's just like the marshland that you can tell will be like soggy, but it already had waterfall. You can see that those are, trees sticking up out of those things.
But that's what saved us.
But that's what saved us. That's where this thing kind of runs off and drains to and stuff. So again, I have to give thanks. We came through. Again, my phrase, relatively unscathed. Anyway, let's keep us relatively unscathed by driving safely.
Okay, so a little bit of damage. This kind of fence came down, but not too bad. This light was already down from normal storm, so we didn't have high hopes for the lights to stay up.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, look at it. Normally,
no, that's like a late.
We'll show you on another day how it normally looks, but that,
yeah, that's like turn these people's house into waterfront now.
So yeah, it shouldn't take us that long to get to the hotel. Another one of these fences that came down. This is what Dan was kind of talking about yesterday. Look at down there. Oh my God. Wait. Wow. Look at that. Wow, you see that?
All normally grass.
This is all grass.
You've seen it flood a little bit.
But never like that. Oh boy.
There's a car coming, but that's by the school. The school is relatively unscathed. But man, there's never water right here. This is all like, again, this looks like it's a lake, like a man-made pond or so. And it's never any water here. So that's crazy looking. Look down here, so. Not as bad. Look what they're saying to the people, them things. Sheesh.
Yeah, that's the nursery. Down there too. This house I've heard about. Might need to put your window down. Yeah, look. See?
Yeah.
That was right.
But they made it though. They made it. The house is good.
But that backyard did look.
But yeah, box.
This is where I was seeing. Yeah, guys. Wow.
It's
Yeah.
This place
It should be back.
down there, so
You can see it.
it's yeah. Down there is kind of rough. Not as bad as I would think. Turned a lot of people
Down that road is what?
The lights are working.
You want to go down old?
Yeah, all of that is water. I can't risk that. I don't.
Let's go down run over here. Like I originally said.
So I'm afraid those
It's
supposed to go
66
to,
degrees.
no.
This one normally has water, but this is way higher than
But it held up pretty well. It looked like it kind of swung down,
yeah.
like not as sunk down there with her. Yeah, so there's not always water right there. That field. It's again, like ponds. That's the purpose of it. It's kind of safe. It's kind of heavy flooded. Navigator, the whole thing is So, not sure what exactly is in here, but it's the only thing open it looks like. Maybe other than Target. I'm gonna check it. Police literally had to come over here to regulate this line.
So Dan is gonna drive. You get right.
Yeah. They need a bridge across this thing now.
The sheriff had to come.
Hopefully not because of something crazy, it's just to regulate because there's so many people. But this is, you can smell that.
Okay, this is PDQ. That's open. See the lines to go inside.
Actually, they're all.
No, they're all for me. Alright guys, we have arrived. You already saw a bit of flipping and crusting. I'm excited. We are at Home 2 Suites. We've been here before, but this is gonna be our home for a night or maybe 2 nights.
Love, I think it's one of a kind. There's something special about your love. I want it all the time.